Coming up on today's episode of Airborne, Mooney delivers the first new Acclaim at EAA AirVenture. The AEA gives you a chance to win $1,000 towards an ADS-B out installation. And the Perlan project takes off to the edge of space. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. I'm Ashley Hale, coming to you this week from EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. Mooney CEO Dr. Chen handed the keys for the first new Acclaim to come off the production line to a proxy for the new owner. Unfortunately, the winner of the auction, Ricardo Pascoe, was unable to be at AirVenture to claim his new plane. So instead, his flight instructor got the honors of accepting the keys during the presentation ceremony. All the proceeds from the auction are going to the Mooney Museum in Kerrville, Texas. The Aircraft Electronics Association is trying to get aircraft owners ready for an ADS-B out installation by giving away $1,000 towards the cause. ANN's Tom Patton reports.
Jeff, we're standing here in front of your kind of like bingo game that we've got going on here at the AEA exhibit at AirVenture, giving away an opportunity for people to save some money on installing their ADS-B out equipment. How's it been going so far?
It's great. We've had a lot of people come by and register to win. The AEA's given $1,000 to 5 different aircraft owners, one winner each day, and the $1,000 will go toward making them ADS-B compliant before the mandate. They just have to be an owner of an aircraft, be at least 18 years of age, and they can choose the product, any product they want, and we'll work directly with the shop. They do have to work with an AEA member shop to do the installation, and as long as it's scheduled by August 1st, 2015, we'll send them the $1,000.
How is this, do you think, going to help drive the awareness, the fact that this deadline is looming and there's no guarantee that it might get pushed?
That's correct. Well, actually, the Deputy Administrator for the FAA just told Congress a couple of weeks ago that they were not going to extend the deadline beyond 2020. And so if that's the case, then there are over 160,000 aircraft to equip before the deadline. So if you're talking 5.5 years, that sounds like a long time, but it's only about 1,300 work days. And when you're doing the numbers, that's about 130 installations per day, per work day on average in order to meet the deadline. So for aircraft owners that wait closer to 2020, then they risk rising costs, backlogged, and possibly not be able to get into a shop that can do it in a timely manner. So that's why we're doing it today, to encourage and get people jump-started and get them doing it now. We also had, just this week at AirVenture, 3 AEA member companies introduce new ADS-B compliant products. And so more products are coming online, and now's the time to do it.
You're watching Airborne on Aero-TV. We'll be right back after these messages with more news from EAA AirVenture Oshkosh.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Concorde Platinum Series batteries are available for all aircraft and offer extra cranking power, resulting in less draw on the battery per cycle for longer life. Visit booth 2053 at Oshkosh. Concorde, for the heart of your aircraft.
The debate is no longer about upgrading GA aircraft with NextGen, it's about financing it. The NextGen GA Fund is about doing just that. Find out more at www.nextgenfund.com.
The Evolution Flight Display System from Aspen Avionics delivers unique reliability and safety features to GA pilots and is truly the most flexible and affordable EFIS available. Aspen Avionics, a new way to look at avionics.
Waco Classic Aircraft carries on the proud tradition of the open cockpit biplane, exhilarating to fly, beautiful to behold. With its classic graceful design, the Waco YMF-5D is custom built for each owner. Learn more at www.wacoaircraft.com.
Welcome back to Airborne at EAA AirVenture. The Perlan Project is a not-for-profit research company that studies atmospheric conditions by utilizing sailplanes designed to soar at extremely high altitudes. The objective is to continue the research that was started by Steve Fossett and his crew, who set a previous world record of 51,000 feet by exploring the very upper-level weather patterns at 90,000 feet above the surface of the Earth. The final objective is to reach altitudes of 90,000 feet by exploring, locating, and flying in mountain waves, which will carry the specially built sailplane into the polar vortex waves, a kind of whitewater effect. The sailplane is designed with a pressurized cabin, which will maintain a 15,000-foot cabin altitude at 90,000 feet. Special design considerations are in place to prevent a cabin depressurization. Hartzell Technologies announced that they have finalized the purchase of the assets of Plane Parts Limited. Mike Disbrow, president of Hartzell Engine Technology, said, quote, "Plane Power is strong in the kit-built experimental market, and they also have several ST-seed generator to alternator conversion kits that will open new market opportunities for us," end quote. Plane Power Products will continue to produce all of its products under its current brand name, and the parts will be produced at the current factory in Granbury, Texas, until all of the FAA PMA documentation is in place to transfer production to Hartzell's facility in Montgomery, Alabama. Aviation as we know it today started with the Wright brothers 111 years ago. When you think of this and relate it to the 85th anniversary of Lycoming engines, it puts it into perspective just how long this company has been lifting mankind in flight. While Lycoming has been a mainstay of general aviation throughout its history, it should not be forgotten that Lycomings have also protected our country by powering aircraft that defended our nation. Whether it's a general aviation reciprocating engine or a turbine engine being used in military applications, Lycoming has a right to be proud of its 85-year history. Airborne is brought to you by some of the best sponsors in the aviation business. We'll be right back with more news.
It's time to elevate your flight planning experience. Intuitively plan routes, retrieve certified weather briefs, calculate weight and balance, and file flight plans. Then fly with iFlight Planner for iPad for superior situational awareness in the cockpit. Once you safely arrive, log your flight data in your online logbook. Flight planning requires a lot of resources, but now it only requires one flight planner. Plan your next flight with iFlight Planner.
The aviation industry is far too automated and impersonal. Levels of care, service, and focus on customers have faded. Concierge provides premier customer care, leading our industry on a return to service. Find us at www.concierge.aero.
The IMC Club is a nonprofit organization with chapters all over the U.S., where instrument-rated pilots can meet to sharpen their skills and share their stories. Not the kind of stories told in casual conversation, but the ones you can only share with other pilots. Topics range from emergency scenarios to equipment and flight planning to FAA policies and much more. If it's important to becoming a better pilot, we've got it covered. Visit imcclubs.org and find out how to get involved today.
AML asks you why would you pay for a Wi-Fi STC when their UM200 router is specifically built for digital communication. Better yet, it works with most SATCOM systems, allowing you the freedom to choose between SATCOM providers. AML's line means you're not limited to one phone manufacturer, as it works with all Wi-Fi enabled devices. www.aviationmodificationleaders.com.
The Bendix King KLR-10 Lift Reserve Indicator is now available for certified aircraft. It is an affordable, intuitive device for angle of attack awareness. Mounted on the glare shield, KLR-10 provides visual and audible lift cues while scanning for traffic or monitoring the runway on approach.
Welcome back to Airborne at EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. Continental Motors Group announced the first flight of its 300 horsepower Jet A-fueled piston aircraft engine. The CD300 series engine has 3-liter displacement and generates up to 310 horsepower at 2,300 RPM. The Continental line of CD engines have a single lever control and an electronic engine management system. It also has common rail technology, direct injection, turbocharging, liquid cooling, and an advanced production gear system. Continental has started the type certification process for its 300 series diesel aircraft engine. The type certification will be conducted in accordance with the requirements of EASA, followed by FAA and CAAC validation. The engine is expected to be certified in 2016. DeltaHawk Engines is now testing its Jet A burning reciprocating engine in a Cirrus SR-20 aircraft. The test aircraft was recently flown from Florida to Oshkosh for display at EAA AirVenture. Initial flight testing has proved the engine to run smoothly with minimal vibration relative to the engine that it replaced. The DeltaHawk engine is 30 to 40% more fuel efficient than comparable gasoline engines. The engine is both turbo and supercharged, providing excellent high-altitude performance. Redundant air, fuel, and cooling systems are provided, and power is operated through a single lever control. Production of non-certified engines will start in the fourth quarter of this year, with FAA certification anticipated by the middle of 2015. You're watching Airborne at AirVenture. We'll be right back with more news from Oshkosh.
Since 2001, MGL Avionics has produced avionics for experimental and light sport aircraft. The flagship product is the IEFIS, a comprehensive next-generation flight, engine, and navigation instrument designed to meet the demands of the modern pilot. See more at www.mglavionics.com.
ForeFlight Mobile gives you better situational awareness, more productivity, and simplified decision-making in one elegant app. Start your 30-day trial today and discover the joy of flying with ForeFlight.
The new TN70 from Trig Avionics combines a WAAS GPS receiver and matching antenna in one convenient and affordable package. It's the smart way to achieve ADS-B out compliance. Contact your approved Trig dealer now. Find out more at trigavionics.com.
295 and counting. That's the number of lives saved so far by the revolutionary BRS airframe parachute. See and read why BRS can keep you safe at www.brsparachutes.com.
Welcome back. On the eve of AirVenture 2014, ANN's Jim Campbell sat down with EAA Chair Jack Pelton. We'll be bringing you portions of that interview all this week. In today's segment, the two talk about the Part 23 rewrite.
With Ms. Peggy Gilligan's information as imparted the other day in a congressional hearing, that the Part 23 rewrite is somewhere in the neighborhood of the end of 2017 at this point, yet another delay and a 2-year delay. And let's face it, it could go further beyond that. Are we in a position to kind of revisit what was done with ASTM and LSA and to look at GA certification as an industry consensus concern and not necessarily the FAA? But it seems to me that there might be an opportunity here, especially so much work has been done, and a lot of that could carry over in so many ways to looking at an industry consensus standard outside of the FAA, although they'll obviously have to rubber stamp it.
If the FAA steps back and says we really don't have the bandwidth to deal with recreational aviation, then they need to change their policies and direction. And what you're bringing up, certainly would be a way to handle that, is to say, let's define that category. Let's define, is it so many pounds and below and so much, what the performance parameters, and go to the consensus standard, because it's sounding more and more like they just flat don't have the bandwidth to deal.
Well, my point, I think, is that they're kind of saying that without saying it.
Exactly.
It seems to me, with the standards that have been put together and the amazing work that's been done, outside of the fact that there's a lot of FAA interference in that now, but left to their own devices, that standard could be extended up through the 172 class and maybe a little bit beyond very easily, and from there, who knows?
Yeah, and I think, Jim, there's some dominoes that need to tip here that may bring that to being a topic that really we can get a lot of industry focus on. And I say that because if the medical exemption goes the right way and goes the way the FAA has discussed it internally as to what may be allowed or not allowed. That may be where you draw the line and say, okay, if that's how you're defining it from a who operates that type of air vehicle, now can we also take over looking at how we certify it, how we regulate it, what that should look like, which could be a consensus standard, could be a lot of things that will make aviation get it revitalized again, if you will. The 2017 comment that the Deputy Administrator made, the concern, or Peggy in her role, this was clearly mandated because of the need to get new aircraft, to get the manufacturers into a better position to where they can actually not create a new 172 and have it cost something that the market won't even bear. And the timing of that was critically important, and kicking that can down the road just completely obliterates what the full intent was. And there were more pieces to that rewrite that we think still needs to be considered and adopted over time, and the delay it's a pretty defeatist position to be in. I don't think we'll hear the end of it. I'm sure Congress is going to start talking about, wait a minute, we had 2015 as the mandate, and now we're 2 years down the road. Where does this eventually go?
We've been preaching for quite some time that the real key to the future of aviation is going to come through innovation. EAA has taken up that gauntlet in a real big way. The Innovation Center last year was very, very visible. We have the example this year of the 10th anniversary of X Prize, and let's face it, if that wasn't inspired by EAA, nothing was. Innovation concept, first and foremost, where are our best opportunities to reinvigorate this business, especially, let's face it, EAA can be and has been the center point to so much progress, so much ingenuity, so much innovation. Where do we look first?
You know, right now I think some of the safety features are probably the most important, because we still got to get rid of journalists who write things that maybe haven't got their facts completely correct, like our USA Today article. We need to get the right story out, and if we're going to attract people, we can't be scaring them off of our industry. So there's safety improvements and enhancements that can be made, stuff we can get in the cockpit, other features like even if you look at the construction of a NASCAR, and people don't get hurt anymore in a NASCAR crash. There's that, there's a whole cost infrastructure, which is exactly what we were talking about. When you get away from the burdensome regulatory environment of what it takes to certify an airplane, maybe we can, in fact, get that price point down to where it's more full. And then there's the engine technology. I mean, we have yet to really break the paradigm on anything other than horizontally opposed 1930s, 40s gasoline-powered engines, and there's lots of technologies, as you know, out there that can be powering products into the future and get us energy efficient. And I think those are all exciting areas to be exploring. And, you know, we haven't brought up the topic of electric. People have been working on it, and, you know, part of it, again, is the regulatory environment. They don't know what to do with it. You know, we've watched that with the UAV debate, the UAS debate, LSAs with electric power. They're not sure how to manage or regulate that. The ASTM standard needs to be corrected to account for it. But, you know, these are all huge opportunities to continue to incrementally add to our fleets and to the number of people who may be interested in getting into aviation.
Well, that's our program. Remember to tune in every day this week for the latest news from EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.